Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so if you've completed video 1 in this series, congratulations. It means that you've downloaded OneNote and you're able to use all of the features. Now, I know some of you might be thinking that you use OneNote, you use it inside Teams, or you use it inside, your web browser such as Google Chrome or Safari or Microsoft Internet Explorer, but please listen to me when I say that it is not as good as the downloaded version. So if you've skipped that video in the series, go ahead and go back to the last video in this playlist and you'll be able to see part 1 and I walk you through how to download it. Alright, so on to part 2. So like I said, I am an HWDSB employee, which means that I automatically have this notebook, class notebook that has been created for me. Now there's multiple ways to create a new notebook, but there's only one way to create a new class notebook. And as a teacher, you're going to want to make sure that you create a class notebook because of all the features. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up OneNote, and it should default to this. If it doesn't, you can make sure to open up your OneDrive file. There will be a folder called Notebooks. Or there will be a file folder called Class Notebooks. So you can see here, these are the notebooks that I've made that are just plain, and these are all the class notebooks I've made that have the extra features involved. So it will be there. If you're looking for it, it will be there. But you can, click on it. It will bring you to the web version, which is inside Google Chrome at this point, and there will be an option here, open in desktop app, okay? So once you do that, you will be able to use all of the features. So to actually create a notebook, you're going to go to the class notebook features here. Okay, this is assuming you haven't created anything yet. You're going to click on create class notebook. You're going to log in with your HWDSB credentials. I highly recommend as well having a different notebook for every subject. I find that if you try to put too many things in the one file, especially since everyone in your class is going to be ideally accessing it at the same time, it just gets to be too much. So for example, I'm going to create a 7A language notebook. So this is the name of my notebook. This is everything that's going to be included. You can't do anything on this page. This is purely informational, telling you about who can see and do what. So there's a collaboration space that's included. Teachers and students can edit. There's a content library. Teacher can edit, student can view. Teacher only section speaks for itself. And the student notebook, private to each student, so they can only see their own information because they have to log into the Microsoft suite, so they cannot see and edit other people's notebooks. Okay? So if you want to give another teacher permission to use this notebook, I'm going to give my colleague permission here. Now this is tied to PowerSchool, so you can see right away it's got staff beside his name, so I know it's the right one. Now, student names. This can get tedious, especially if you have any students with common names. So what I recommend is I actually recommend making a list of student names, especially if you're going to be creating one for every subject, and use their usernames. So you can see here briefly, I've got first letter first name, first X many characters of their last name, and then their 4-digit number. So if you separate them with a semicolon, you can just copy and paste, and then all these red lines disappear and you see the kids' names. Now this is what's going to be in each student's private space. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the handouts one, but if you're making a homeroom notebook, you could, add a section for each subject, so language, math, etc., just using this button here. Okay, I'm going to click next. can't do anything on this page. This is just a preview of what your notebook's going to look like, where you can see everybody's names and what the student notebook would look like. Then you click create. This might take a couple minutes. Okay, and then once you're here, you are done. So you can click on Open in OneNote. And you can see in the background there, it's already gone ahead and loaded, and it's populating with all of the kids' names. I'm just gonna hide their names there for a minute. So if you do exit out of this and you do not click, you can see there's the online version, there's the app version, but if you exit out of this and you do not click on it in time, you can go here, you can scroll down, and you can click Add Notebook. Sometimes there's a little pop-up here underneath your notebook name that will say Add Notebook as well. This brings me to my recent, but I can also go into Open, OneDrive, Class Notes, and there is all of the ones that I have created. Okay, and then that allows you to have the notebooks open in this drop menu. Now, if I make a notebook and I don't really use it all that often, I can just right-click and close that notebook and it will go away. As well, if I decide to change the name of this, I can do it because I'm on a Mac by going into OneDrive, going into Class Notebooks, and just right-click, rename. The thing is, though, once you do that, it breaks any links. So if you have the notebook open here, you're going to have to close it and then reopen it because you've renamed it. Otherwise, it won't work. It'll just say that there's an error. Okay? So hopefully that is helpful. This is everything about getting set up. Now I'm going to go into the actual features of why you might want this program. Okay, so I'm going to go back here so there's no student names. Now, you can distribute pages, add, remove students. This whole toolbar is so helpful. So the best way that you're going to do it is you're going to create a new section. And if I want to name this, for example, theory, okay, means all of my theory work will be in here. Now within theory, I can have different pages. So I can have, say, lesson 1, and then underneath lesson 1, I can have, like, say, title page. Now to organize this, I can actually make this a subpage, which means no matter what I put here, I can now boop and click it and hide it away. This is going to be super helpful for you because if we go into my social studies notebook, for example, I have purchased an amazing package on Teachers Pay Teachers, and it is 17 lessons long. So you can see here, it would get pretty heavy on my end if I didn't have this organized. And you can see here, I've got all of my lesson information inside of it. Okay. Now, personally, I like to use this in collaboration with the Hub because I find that tests and quizzes do better in the Hub because you can, it's a little more of a confidentiality thing. You can make sure that they're actually doing it properly. So what I do is I just name something quiz, and then I go ahead and give them instructions on where to find it in the Hub, and then that way they can just follow these instructions. You can also embed, PDFs in here, which is the main reason why I believe you will be here. And you can actually write right on top of these guys. So that makes doing work super easy, okay? You can also use it to create drag and drop assignments and whatnot. So I'm going to go over this really quickly, how to insert PDFs and how to make them so that they are editable, and then I will go over some other features in the next video because I fear this is getting a little bit long. So what you're going to do, go back to my notebook here. I have a title page, say that I want to insert. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Printout. And it will open up my files. So I want to insert, say, a PDF of our class timetable. Boom, it's there. Now this is an image that I can drag around. The actual PDF is here. So they can actually click on this and open it if they have the Adobe software and they say want to print it. But this is what's actually malleable, sorry. So to make this so that if this was a PDF I could write on top of, I'm going to right click, which on a Mac is a 2-finger click, and I'm going to set it as background. Now as soon as I do that, I can't drag it around anymore. The kids can't either. It's locked there, but I can write right on top of it. And because all the text includes these wonderful little text boxes as soon as you start typing, you can move that wherever you need to. Okay. If you had a fill in the blank assignment, this works really well. You can even pre-type all of the terminology that they might need for a fill in a blank assignment, and then they just have to drag and drop it from like a word bank. You can do a lot with this. The key is that you are using it as a printout. The other way to put work in, which I find a little bit easier, is to actually go to whatever work you are trying to put in. So if I'm trying to put in this image here, and just drag and drop. See? And it shows up. So this is an image as opposed to a PDF. So if I go to PDF, it'll give me the options here as to which one I want to do. And again, choosing insert as printout, and then there you go. Okay. So I find this super helpful. This entire system is drag and drop based. So if you choose to rearrange things, move things around, it's all drag and drop based. So it's very intuitive for the kids and very easy for you. All right, in my next video, I'm going to get into some of the specific features that I use when I am teaching, but this is the basics of what you need to do to get up and running for Microsoft OneNote.